From the heart of Colombian Amazon region shines our stunning Universidad de la Amazonia. The English teaching program, since its opening, has received hundreds of students from surrounding states in the region. With the objective of bringing interculturality, knowledge, and development, the English teaching program has worked through its professors to instruct future English teachers for the south of Colombia. This time, the English Advanced Students course gathered resources and effort to build together a meaningful moment forever. We interview professors, students, foreign visitors to ask them about the social impact of our English teaching program in our Greeny Amazonia region, from an artistic, cultural, research, and professional training approach. Universidad de la Amazonia en Florencia has its origins in the Instituto Tecnológico Universidad Surcolombiana Itusco. Later, in 1982, through the Law 60 of December 30 sanctioned by the President of the Republic, Dr. Belisario Betancur Cuartas, the sectional of the Universidad Surcolombiana was transformed into the Universidad de la Amazonia. Over time, this university has been adding more programs to its educational offerings for the growth itself. The ILT program is a program designed for the benefit of the community in terms of integration of new knowledge from another culture.
The English language teaching program is an art and culture promoted in the Amazonia region. In this way, it is possible to have festivals such as the English Day and the English Song Festival, which highlight the talents and enhance the communicative skills of students' programs educational institutions, and English academics in the region. Moreover, the ELD program promotes the creation of murals and artistic paintings to encourage the English language through the artistic expressions in the context where language learning takes place. Furthermore, the ELD program has research groups, among which it is Identities Research Group. It seeks to appropriate its students of the culture of the region so they can express their cultural identity through story writing, poetry, singing, play, among others.
I think each one of us has a different culture. And when we gather together in classroom, we talk about one's culture. I think culture is not something that is outside there. It's also something that is beneath your skin. It's something that is part of your identity. And first time I came here to Caqueta, it was amazing to see how different are people from Bogota and other countries and other places in Colombia to people living here. And once I discovered that this place was quite diverse and they had different thoughts, different ways of understanding life, I said, damn, I've got to understand better this department. And so in that moment I started to create this research seed. So once I discovered this from this part of the country, I said, hey, let's research about it. Let's try to figure out why they're so different and why people here don't relate anything to themselves. It's like they think they don't belong here. Like the culture from Caqueta is really not so diverse, not so important. And when I understood that, I said, nah, I have to do something with my students so they can feel safe, they can feel identified with their own culture. And so we started to go out to discover indigenous communities, concerts, and different sources of art. And once I started to go with them, I encouraged my students to write, because writing is quite important to express what you feel about life and how can you express yourself. So for me it's necessary first to go out, to explore, to understand life, and then to think about it. It's a continuous circle that we try to do in our research seed. Without going out, we won't be able to understand our culture. We can't understand culture through a TV. We can't understand culture only through social media. I think we have to go out to explore, to talk with others, and to feel identified with them. We have many differences, but it's only when we understand that those differences make us important that we really need the others to understand ourselves. I don't know, I guess every meeting is a cultural gathering, and I like to explore, to understand and let people to reveal themselves, to say, hey, I'm this, but I'm more than this. More of us is inside our heads. So let me explain to you who I am. And I guess that is the main goal of our research seed, to deepen into our thoughts, into our feelings. And for me, that is part of the culture. Not only big concerts or famous people. No, I think from a farmer, from a person who sells groceries in the Galeria, we can learn a lot. And we have to explore. What can our students get from this research seed? I think they can get enough tools to question themselves, not to give things for granted. I think that's very dangerous to say, I know it's people are everywhere and they are regular person, they are common people. No, I think the research seed makes the students to amaze, or to feel amazed by others, or to understand that everybody in this planet is awesome. And when we create these pottery objects, these artifacts, it's a constant reflection. It's like going out of their comfort zone and try to discover how people created these sort of things hundreds and thousands of years ago. I think the best way to make art is, man, do it. You have to feel curious. You have to feel I mean, you have to create the need for the other to create art. And I think that is the base of teaching. If the teacher prepares the student to create art, I think it's the best way to give teaching a meaning. If teaching is only repeating what is on the books, if teaching is just grades, good grades, bad grades, we are not creating anything. We are just repeating and repeating. But I guess the art, that's something different. Creating a poem, a painting, a piece of art. And I think the research seed is involved in every aspect of students' life. And so they become aware that they can be an artist if they want. If my student wants to be an artist, I always encourage, man, you can do it. Girl, you're very good at it. You should do it more often. And I guess that is the most valuable thing from the research seed, to provide a student with the tools and the confidence, the self-confidence to say, hey, I can create something. I think I'm good at this, so I'm going to give it a try. And maybe in the future, I'm not going to be famous, or who knows, maybe yeah, but I'm going to try. And if I can do it, I'm happy with it. So I'm not talking with students, I'm talking with artists. And if they can create beautiful pieces of art, it's because they want to do it. And I guess every single teacher should encourage their students to do it, to create, not to imitate or to pay to others to do their jobs, but to create new things.
The Identities Seminar is really cool. It's a great place for people to come and learn in lots of ways that aren't just strictly research papers. And so it's a really interesting form of research because people are using that creative part, are fomenting that creative understanding of themselves and of the world around them. And so when I took part in the Identities Seminar, we worked with clay, but there was also contests for stories and poetry. And these are lots of ways in which people can be researching not just their situation around them, but themselves. And it fits into a world of academia that isn't just related to classic social scientific or scientific research, but also related to the humanities, related to poetry, art, music, learning in a more broad sense. So I think that, what Profe Julian has done in bringing these creative projects to bear is really amazing.
The English language teaching program has stood over the years for its arduous search for the improvement of teaching and learning strategies to strengthen the different competencies established in the teaching of English as a foreign language through research studies developed by the students linked to the ELT program. These studies have contributed significantly to the structuring of the curricula design for the ELT program and facilitates its implementation in a concrete manner in line with the objective proposed by the program.
As a teacher of this university, I think that all the research processes that the students carry out in this university have a social impact. Why? Because they all have to address a problem, even in a school or at the university. Additionally, I think that it is very important that all the teachers in the university try to work together in having a specific focus for research in students' processes, because sometimes it happens that some teachers have some ideas and some others have other ideas, and I think that the most important part will be to try to join all these ideas together and try to organize the way students do or carry out research.
Research, as any other matter subject in any field, it's completely important to master. I consider the research competences that future trainee teachers are going to develop are highly important for them to recognize conceptually the different methods, approaches, and methodologies they can implement inside a classroom to help people in the process of learning a target language. I consider the impact of a research, especially in a region, hasn't been perceived at all, but just locally in some settings that they do not be, let's say in some way, spread to be known for others. I consider the impact of a research not in a short scale, but maybe longitudinal, has to have a purpose for the becoming future researchers, and that they are going to apply their skills to consider, find out most of the needs to be solved in individuals. As future professionals of research or future professionals of the language, it's important to master the concepts and put the concepts into the praxis, so that they are going to develop their knowledge, develop their experience to improve in certain way their profession, their capabilities, but most importantly to become experts of the language and how they're going to teach with new trends the target language itself.
English language teaching program trains professionals with a high human quality profile based on critical thinking and ethical and citizenship training, with a solid linguistic, pedagogical, social humanistic training that will allow them to meet the needs of children, youth, and adults in cognitive fields. Moreover, a researcher and active teacher in the educational community with a permanent interest in self-training to give the best of himself in his academic work.
Well, the profile our English program is looking for are teachers who are going to be able to be involved in all of the contests all around the country, basically with pedagogical and linguistical knowledge. This through applying all of the strategies they have been learning through the complete program and the complete curriculum, and well, by being researchers as well into their self-learning and self-confidence, like teachers. Talking a little bit more about what I do think about the results when you are graduated. Well, basically I can talk about my personal experience. I got graduated on around 4 years ago, more or less, 2000, no, more than 4 years. It was on in 2016, yeah, to be exactly. And basically when I started to teach, it was a little bit hard since facing the real life, facing the pedagogical background and the pedagogical field, sorry, like you are like getting involved, it's a little bit hard. However, while you're teaching, you get used to all of the contents and all of the students. So there is where you found that all the linguistic and language acquisition theories you learned at the university are getting applied. Since you are studying all of your students, you are studying the way your students are learning. So you are, as I told you, according to the profile, you are continuously doing research. So, and the research is not just on your students, actually it is on academic proposals, academic background, right? That you're like, how is it the best way or the best strategies you are looking for in order to get your students the level, in the case of English, if you are teaching English, the level you would like them to get. Yeah. So it is a continuous researching field and a continuous researching task you need to get involved with. In the same way, when you start learning how to understand and how to get the way students are learning the best for them, for each one. So when you're in a group of 25 students, or when you're in a group which is around 40 students, then you found the big question: how I'm going to do to get those students to learn English as I would like. That's a difficult answer, to be honest. However, during the road, you are going to face with not just a big group problem, but you are going to face as well with students who are getting problems for acquiring a language because their native language is Spanish. It's already a problem for them to be learning. So how I'm going to be teaching to a student who is having problems with the native language, a foreign language, right? Because we're not teaching English as a second language. We're teaching English as a foreign language because it is not within our context, right? So I do consider our English program is doing right, since the profile we're looking for is focused on the students we got in our country and the different contexts we got in our department as well.
First, just let me tell you, we had two programs. Let's say a program which is about to finish, yes, and then its name changed, and this is sort of new. But let's say briefly, I may say that regardless we have a young program, this has positively impacted people in our southern region. So we had students from Huila, we have students from Putumayo, we have students from Nariño, right? So we can observe the program has reached certain corners of our country, and students have the possibility to understand the needs, the difficulties this particular context has once they go to their teaching practicum courses. Students in the undergraduate program endeavor a process of 9 semesters. They are truly prepared to face any adversity they may find in the real context. They receive all the pedagogical components and for sure teaching approaches, methods, and all which is required for English language teaching. Students are properly trained to face all different contexts: teaching to children, teaching to teens, and teaching to adults. I firmly believe students develop all the competences required for facing these new difficulties.
From my perspective, how are folks here prepared for the global world? I think people are prepared in a lot of ways, you know, to be able to communicate in English, to have a really strong background in grammar. But you know, I think that the thing that's most important for people coming out of this program is to be able to speak really well and listen really well. And I think that that's the thing that folks need to be prepared in if they want to go into fields where you need English. But really, you know, for me, I think that the people here at the University of the Amazonia are ready for the global world and the global market, but they're not given the opportunities through visas, through the ability to travel, through the ability to work abroad. And that's something that I would like to see changed, not about the Amazonia, but about the global system. So students from the Amazonia have more opportunities to really engage with the global system, because now I think those opportunities can be limited.
In the ELT program, we are getting prepared for being future professionals. We get to manage our English skills, and also being a quality educator requires discipline, responsibility, creativity, and leadership. For that reason, we aim to contribute to the building of a prosperous, better society as students.
In addition, English language teaching students scope on in their professional context, giving priority to them to solve and foster a meaningful social impact in the region. Thanks to all the processes that are carried out within the English language teaching program, we realize how important they are and how significant they have been in university as well in society, demonstrating that this program is really qualified for the development of professionals who are gradually becoming integral researchers and teachers for the benefit of an entire community.